we are already on the ground. We have distributed, I think, more than 40%. And in terms of farmer payments, we got 30 million USD last week, which we are almost finishing to pay. That is for the farmers, and the ZIG we received 115 million ZIG. So generally that's the update.
When you say 40%, and you distributed 40%, because the Minister of Agriculture during the pre-budget seminar 2 days ago in Bulawayo confirmed that you now have about 50% of the inputs, and the distribution will be starting soon. And you have already distributed 40% according to your submission, which is which there?
Chair, we already started distributing. Yes, and like I'm saying, we've distributed I think more than 40%.
Yes. Meaning you are left with 10%. What? Because we want to find out what you have received, which is ready to be distributed, so that we can see the state of preparedness.
Okay.
So that's why we want to.
So GMB receives inputs.
Yes.
And these inputs are bought by the ministry. Our role is then to distribute the inputs that come to GMB. I'm not sure what the minister was talking about, whether he's talking of the season requirements or what is in GMB. I'm talking of what GMB has done. The minister could be speaking about the season and the requirements for the farmers. We don't speak about that. We speak about the inputs that come to us for distribution.
So are you saying you only received 40%? Why are you saying that? Yeah, you should just stick to the questions and answer.
It doesn't the question. Yeah. So you asked, are you saying you just...
So can you help us with the figures now?
Yes, Honorable. Yeah. You said, are you saying you have distributed 40%? Or received 40% of the requirement?
Of the national requirement. We are talking about something.
Honorable, we don't speak of national requirement. It is the purview of the ministry.
Okay, give us statistics of what you have received.
The figures, Honorable, like I said in the beginning, I do not have my team from operation. So I just say...
The 40% that you talked about is 40% of what?
Of what we have distributed.
Yeah, but what did you receive?
Honorable member, attitude that receive 13,560 metric tons. This one. Saka inindo ya kuno ndichiziva kuti nyaenda dedzerwa ndeyakati.
Can you just stick your role to answer? If you don't know anything, you just say you don't know.
Ndozvandataura honorable ndichiti pandau ya kuno.
We have heard that part. Can you answer the question as well?
Which question, honorable? What is the question?
So what were you trying to answer?
Aditi matiwa distributor zvakawanda sei. Ndikati 40%.
How many metric tons did you receive from that?
Iwo metric tons amabvunza ndo andadavira ndisati ndatanga kutaura. Ndichiti zvandauya kuno kana dzamabvunza idzi ndinenge tine generic information.
Can you send one of your guys to get the statistics, then we'll come back to this question later on. Okay, that's the statistics that we want, and so that we can proceed. If there's any follow-up questions, you can pose.
Chairman, you know, CEO is the head of the organization, and we expect him to have all the answers, not to then say my junior staff must answer this, my junior staff must answer this. Because right now, we are now beginning to question. CEO, are you in charge at GMB? Because what you are failing to answer probably to the majority of Zimbabweans is your core business. To the majority of Zimbabweans, we have seen us. Most of us here, we are raw MPs, and the expectation of the Zimbabweans. Don't forget that the organization that you are leading is not a private. Is to serve the nation, and the nation are those people who doesn't know more and much about that the CEO doesn't know what is happening in the organization. So we are questioning now as a committee the capacity judge in Kurana that important organization
I hope it's not your first time to appear before Parliament. When a member of Parliament is speaking, you need to be composed. You don't need to laugh. This is not a playing matter. You are appearing. No. Can you please wait? When I'm speaking, you wait. Then you respond when we give you a chance to respond.
Okay.
Because you are not sharing this issue. You have appeared here to give evidence. So your conduct must speak to the role that you are playing. These are members of Parliament.
Okay.
We are not. Can you please calm down? Right? And stop interjecting when a member of Parliament is speaking. Right? Thank you. That's what's my point of view.
Thank you. I think the question here is a simple one. You said you received 40%. 40% of what? That's the simple question that is being asked. You cannot be saying you don't know it's 40% of what. If it's 40% of 10,000, then simply 40% of 10,000. Any other supplementary? Yes, Honorable Judge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to find out from you said they received about 15 million of cash. Is it for wheat or for paying farmers, whatever was outstanding?
We received 13 million US, and we paid for the outstanding monies for farmers, the maize and traditional grains were around 2 million. So the 11 was going for wheat farmers.
Thank you. Do you still have any other outstanding payments for the farmers?
Yes, sir.
For how much?
I think what was outstanding before receiving the 13 was about 32 million, 34. So less the 13
Can we break it down? You are owing so much for.
we were owing 34. Yeah, we were owing about 2.3 for maize and traditional grains, and then the balance, which would be 32 million, was for wheat. But then the way we pay is we pay by date order. So naturally the maize would have come first, the traditional. So we then liquidate first the 2.3 and then we went into paying. So what will be outstanding will be the 34 minus 13, which will be 21.
So are you confirming that in terms of the maize, yes?
Yeah, it will be fully paid, yes.
Fully paid.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Honorable Shashwari.
I've got two questions. Number one, that amount you received is in US dollars, and can you confirm that you paid the farmers in US dollars, or in Zimbabwean dollars? Number two, there were farmers that were being owed by GMB previous seasons, farming seasons. Were they part of the people who got the money from the 13 million? some years ago, for 2019, 2018 farming seasons. Some of them they delivered maize, some sunflowers and so on.
To our knowledge, there is no farmer from previous seasons who has not been paid. However, if there are some farmers out there that could not have been paid for one or two reasons, we encourage them to come and they will be paid immediately. One of the challenges that we saw, which could be that is that supply of different bank details for USD, and the person thinks it's ZWL account, but those will be very, very minor if they are any. In terms of the payment of USD versus local currency, when we receive the USD money, it is paid as such. Where we receive the local currency money, it is paid as such. So we pay with the currency that we have been released.
Are you also involved in input distribution for cotton, double cotton? If your answer is yes, when are you getting the funding from that? Do you consider it as a conflict, given that cotton is involved and is entitled to also be doing the same way, that the same distribution that you are doing? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we are involved in the distribution of cotton inputs from last year, September. Unfortunately, the resources for such an endeavor are not coming. In terms of conflict, I'm not sure how to respond to that one. Because we are distributing presidential inputs, which are under presidential input program. So this is a decision that was done by leadership. So I'm not sure in terms of conflict.
Yes, Honorable Stoli.
Okay, I just want to know which legal instrument you are using to distribute cotton products, since you are a green marketing institution established in terms of the GMB Act. Thank you.
Yes, you can respond to CEO.
Thank you. The legal instrument that we are using is GMB. I think that would be best answered by the ministry. We got a directive from the ministry to distribute the cotton inputs under presidential input program. I think I mentioned in the beginning that the presidential input program is run by the ministry. We only come in to assist in terms of the logistics. But the budget and the running everything is the ministry.
Do you have a written directive? Because we want to have sight of the written directive from the ministry.
Yes, we do.
When can you submit to the committee?
As soon as we go back, we'll send you the communication.
Can you say Wednesday, end of day?
I just want to supplement. Since there is no legal instrument which supports your work that you are doing in terms of cotton projects, that work, how much has it costed GMB? Because that's a cost which is actually not part of the core mandate of GMB. And we just want to know how much GMB is spent on those operations, which is not part of your core business? How much have you spent so far?
Thank you. We've used 3.5 million USD.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mine is to find out in terms of the basal compound area, in terms of tonnage, how much have you received to date and how much have you distributed to your respective farmers for cotton production? Thank you.
I will respond to that one.
Chair, I do not have exact figure at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair.
But when can you also supply the exact figure on Wednesday with the other document?
Sure.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Maybe when it supplies the exact figure on Wednesday, can you also bring us the breakdown of the 3.5 million which you have used on cotton operations, which is not part of your core mandate, so that give us the breakdown that this money has been used for transport, for example, and then other issues. Thank you.
I believe the Cotco is a company where the government has some shares as well, and I'm sure there are other silent shareholders in Cotco, and I would want to ask GMB, how are they going to recover the 3.5 million they used during their operations for distribution of the inputs for Cotco? I think for now, I think that's what I would want to hear. Plus, I think is GMB aware that Cotco got certain silent shareholders who have got more shareholding percentages than government? I think.
Thank you very much, CEO.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we've had Cotco shareholding is government and private. Maybe that is a policy issue, because we are implementers. So in terms of the recovery, I think because what happens is that GMB is almost wholly funded by Treasury. So since Treasury is here, maybe they could assist how the accounting part would then, whether it will be treated as shareholding, additional shareholding, or what. I think finance can assist. Honorable.
Which finance?
Ministry. I heard there's Ministry of Finance.
But you can't come here to answer, to ask questions to people.
These are part of the committee.
Thank you, Chair.
They are part of us.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure how the accounting system is treated at Ministry of Finance, because it is the one who provides those resources.
Yes, Honorable Judge, then Honorable Strong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think timely distribution of inputs to the farmers is very pertinent in terms of ensuring that our farmers they get the inputs on time. In terms of the cotton distribution points, how many distribution points do you have which you are operating to ensure that inputs get to the farmers on time? Thank you.
Over to you, CEO.
Thank you, Chair. Like I said, we got the directive from September last year. And that was the first distribution we did. So we adopted the distribution points that were already there under protocol.
Dr. Badalai, I'm sure you said the previous season you were not funded for the distribution of our Cotco inputs. This season now, have you been paid already? Is it funded? And if it is not funded, how are you managing? Are you going to, can you promise us that you are definitely going to manage the distribution of Cotco inputs and your usual duties?
Thank you. We have not received funding for this season. The transporters, these are same transporters that we use, who have not been paid. To assure this House that the inputs will be distributed fully on time, Honorable, I can't. Why? Because it depends with the parcel holder whether we'll get the money or not, the resources. Now, if we don't get the resources because we rely on third-party transporters, we will not be able to distribute, because it is dependent on transporter availability, accessibility, and willingness. Yet, from the finance side, the funding is not coming to pay the transporter obligation.
Hold up.
Oh, okay.
We are now in November. Under normal circumstances, for cotton to get meaningful results, we expected that cotton farmers could have already been given their inputs by now. And since you are saying even up to today you haven't funded, and we are now in October, November, we are almost mid-November. No, last time no funding, this time no funding, and then we are in November. Are we not seeing disaster this coming season? And Dr. Badalai, you have been given a directive by the minister to say distribute these inputs with or without funding. The previous season you said you did it without funding. We are now in November and farmers haven't received their inputs. And what have you done? Have you communicated to the authorities who gave you a directive to distribute with or without your position as it stands right now? Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just to add on, we are faced with a very serious challenge. Last time the minister was asked about issue distribution of the inputs as well as the distribution of the grains, the social welfare and so forth. And there were challenges. The community is not getting those commodities on time. Others, they will not get them because within the system, it means it encourages corruption. It encourages people to steal along the way from the source to the end. At the end of the day, Banasa is the citizen. So the Honorable's question on communication because the directive has come, you have money, and you know the challenges. And you also have the challenges of distribution of maize and maize to the citizens, inputs to the citizens, and the cotton inputs to the citizens. All those things, have you communicated to them that the work that you are assigning us, we are not able to do it, because I will suffer the end result, the citizen is going to suffer because of the challenges that you facing. If you communicated, what was the response?
Thank you, Honorable Katwal. Over to you, Dr. Njanti. Dr. Batarai, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable members. We have meetings every week with the ministry, and we, as much as we also get guidance from there, we raise areas of challenges that we have. So yes, the leadership is constantly aware of the challenges that we have, and I know they communicate also at that level. For this money that we have received, 30 million and 150 million, it was through the ministers' meeting in saying we need money with the challenge here. So yes, we constantly communicate with the ministry leadership.
Okay, sorry. Since you constantly communicate, what are the constant responses that you get?
Thank you, Chair. The responses are around resource constraints, and that engagements are being done at high level to ensure that the appropriate resources are also availed so that we do the work.
Thank you. Then there's the issue of communicating with the farmers. How far have you gone on that? And isn't it what you asked Honorable Mabonite? Because the farmers need to know that the inputs will be late. They shouldn't be in the dark.
Honorable Chair, the structure of the new framework, it includes COTCO, it includes the GMB, it includes ARMA, it includes the architects officers. So we get the list of farmers from we get the list of farmers from COTCO, and the contract management is through COTCO, which does contracting of the farmer. So most of the communication is not directly between GMB and the farmer. Most of the communication that we do is with the agri-techs, with the COTCO, and mainly ARMA. And we know COTCO then communicates with its farmers.
Thank you. So are you saying you are in communication with agri-techs and
COTCO?
And COTCO. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm worried because for the past season, I think the nationwide output of cotton production, it was 18,000 metric tons out of a possible of 150,000 metric tons. So I think with this arrangement, we are hearing that in terms of delivery of input will be late, delivery of inputs to the farmers, given the constraint, given the challenges which we are getting here. I think the industry, in terms of production, it will be heavily affected. So I don't know. I think something has to be done in terms of ensuring that the inputs they get onto the farmers on time, because ideally cotton, the planting days for cotton should be, the early should be 15 October. So by now, if we are saying that the inputs are still going on to the farmers, then we can see a disaster in terms of cotton production. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable.
Madam Chair, I think it's better we go to our core business of the day. Because if we keep on discussing about these other issues, I think it falls under the Committee of Agriculture, which I chair. And I'm sure we are also in the process of asking them to come and brief the committee on the state of preparedness. So I think let us concentrate on money. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mabolike. We go to our next question.
Sorry, Honorable Chair. It seems as if they would already supplied written responses. Maybe if there are areas they would want to put more emphasis, clarification, additions or subtractions, they can do that. But before they do that, there is a list of things that they are supposed to bring on Wednesday. After they do that, maybe they can just tell us so that we are on the same page with them.
Okay, thank you very much. We noticed that you sent in your written submissions. Maybe you have in, other additions to what you submitted in terms of your non-compliance, management of assets, and lease rentals.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think it's clearly articulated in there, unless there is anything particular, but we brought that together with that file which has got the supporting documentation to all the states.
I think if they have submitted their responses with the supporting documents, I think it should be enough for the day, Madam Chair.
It won't be enough. We still want Dr. Bakare on the floor. Okay, on that note, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for the written submission. Thank you for the time. We will be waiting for you to submit the documents that you're supposed to submit by end of day Wednesday. Thank you so much for coming. See you next time in the Agriculture Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. While I'm not new to Parliament business, I wanted to apologize for the misunderstanding that happened in the beginning. You see, in our area, if leadership is speaking, we confirm that we are hearing what they are saying. So can we say yes? Okay, because we are confirming that we are hearing you, what you are saying. So I want to apologize for that misunderstanding, but I've learned in terms of the written submissions that we have to bring here, it's about the statistics in terms of inputs distribution that we'll do. Then the breakdown of the 3.5 million that we did spend on cotton input distribution. I think this was a confirmation of the directive to distribute cotton inputs. I submit, Chair.
Madam Chair, I think submitting the statistics on the distribution to PAC, I think is not proper.
I think those submissions should go to Agriculture Committee. So I think that
point of order, Madam Chair. Please, you must remind us that we're in park meeting. Yeah, so whatever we demand in park meeting is for park. If you want those statistics in Agriculture Committee, please, can you request them there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Padarai, the CEO, Mr. Guta, the FD, and Mr. Zanza, the FM. Thank you so much for coming and for taking much of your time. I know you are very busy people. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.